Hey everybody, welcome back to our series about switching from iMovie to DaVinci Resolve to edit our videos. Now what we want to do is things on the edit screen. Looking at right now, at the bottom here is the edit with all of the cuts to it, and I can zoom in on that line down here. The first thing that we can do after we've done the edit is we can put all of our clips back together again. So I'm going to hit Command A to select everything, and then I'm going to right click on it. Gonna go new compound clip. Name this one working timeline, create that. Then if I click over here into my media pool, I can see that I've got my base, I've got my timeline, I've got my working timeline. And then if I wanted to make a backup of it, I could right click on it and I could say duplicate. I could say this is clip attributes, original cuts. So now we've got this full timeline to look at here, and if I click on the inspector, that pulls up my screen that shows all of the information at the point on the timeline that we're at right now. So we're going to talk a little bit today about keyframes. Let's start, zoom in a little bit, and let's click on play. Hey everybody, I wanted to talk today. Oh my, it's way too fast. What's this button do? Full extent zoom. Okay, let's go out that far to start at. I'm going to watch through the clip and I'm going to pay attention to the parts where I refer to something on the screen, and then I'm going to try to give a zoom in on the part of the screen that I'm talking about so that I can show more clearly what it is that we're supposed to focus our eyes on. Because one thing that I've noticed whenever I'm talking to other people about things that are going on the screen, I can say, go to this thing, and I see it very clearly on the screen, but the other person does not. I think it would help if I started to point out the things that I see on the screen, and keyframes are one of the ways that I can do that. Let's go through here and see if we find a point where I need to add a keyframe. Then we can talk about what that looks like. So I'll pull up my keyframe window here. I'll keep it right there for now until we find a point. Then we can talk about what's happening with it and how it ties into what's happening on the right. Just click on play. I've got this set. Alright, so here I'm about to select a set of files, and I want to zoom in on those files to give it some direction in what we're talking about here. I'm going to click on this undock button to pop this out to another screen, because on a single screen what I do is I'll have the keyframe editor on the bottom screen here, and we'll see how this works out in just a second, I think. Alright, so bring that down there, go back into here. So I'm at the spot. So I want to add a zoom feature. So I'm going to click, and usually I do these at the same time. So you can specify which aspects of the frame are needed to stand out from the rest of it. So like right now, everything's default. Right now I'm at the spot on the timeline. I've got a single file select. I'm going to click on this button next to the zoom X and Y, which are linked right now. I'm going to zoom in a bit. I'm also going to move the X and Y, which are the 2D plane. I can control where on the screen to look. So I'm going to click on the red box there. I'm going to scooch it to the left. And I think that's good for now. This is a good time to go to detail level. So I click on the detail icon. I can see now I've got them all selected. Oh, actually, wait. So let's go back. So where I put that first point, that should have been it. I did this wrong. Sorry about that. Yeah. All right, so let me back it up. So I guess I want to zoom into it. I don't want to zoom in at that point. So let me do this. That'll be 1 and 0. That's its everything back to its original set there. And it now has its own detail here as well. So it's got its own point there. I'm going to zoom over a little bit. I'm going to put a new point. Got to zoom in kind of like I had it before. A little to the left. And then I'm going to let it play out for a minute. Okay, so there I want to zoom out, or at least move. So we'll put a point. Let me go back a little bit. Alright, so that's expanding there. So I'll put a point. And then as it expands, I'll put another point. So, yeah. And those points, zoom out a little bit. A little bit over. Alright, so how much room do I have there? Zoom in a wee bit. Scooch a little bit more. Notice down here that if I move the playhead back, I can see how this is going so far. Set of videos that I took today, and if we look at one, you can see it's in the vertical format. At that point, I want to get back to normal. So we'll say here, forget it being at the point that we were, and then in a couple of seconds, we want to be back at 1. We want to be back at default. So go back over here, we'll put tab, 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 0, tab, tab, 0, tab. Okay, so now we're back at our initial state. If we wanted to see that whole thing again, set of videos that I took today, and if we look at one, you can see it's in the vertical format. I'm pretty happy with how that looks so far. Let's keep going. Here I'm talking about the iMovie library and how big it is at current time. So I will zoom into that. One thing is that right now my iMovie here, I'll do another zoom. This is my starting point, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. And then where I want to look in a second is where I'm going to do the zoom part. So we'll zoom in. Make sure it's very clear what this iMovie library size thing is. Try to get started, that's good enough. So we'll let that play. The library is at 53 megabytes, and we'll see how that changes. Alright, so at that point we go back. So we'll say here, we'll set our default point. At this point it's not default, but I guess it's where we want. So this way, if we didn't set this point and we went back and just set it to the regular point, and we can see how it works. We'll take a look in a second. Let me go over here. I'm going to put a point to put it all back at the normal state. 1 tab, 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 0 tab, tab, 0 tab. So we're back at normal. So that is what it looks like whenever we've got our starting point, our zoomed point, the end of our zoomed point, and our starting point again. If we skipped this middle point, let me scroll up here. Down here, and this is important because down here you can see all the points where you've got different keyframe values set, different properties on that frame, how it's going to move, and it's zooming and panning and all those things. If I select these points and I click delete, notice how we don't get the flatness anymore. Now everything goes directly to this endpoint. If we look at how that looks in practice, iMovie library, it does 53 megabytes. And we'll see how this slow zoom out. So what I'm going to do is click Command Z to undo what I did and put that previous point back where it was. Now everything's good again. And if I click and I hit the space key, iMovie library, I can see it plays at 53 megabytes. And we'll see how that changes as things go. Let's keep going. Alright, so here I want to zoom in what I'm doing with the sorting and the clipping and the iMovie part, because that's where, because I want the user's eye to get drawn. So I can do that. Let's see, if I come to this point here, put another, and I always do these in batches, the zoom and the position, because sometimes I'll need the zoom later or I'll need the position later, and if I didn't set it at the beginning point, then everything starts to get off, but very slowly, and then I have to go back and figure out where I missed a point. So yeah, I always try to pair those two things together. Okay, so let's go back. So we want to zoom in, go left, zoom, go left, zoom in. Because I should be able to see the pop-up, the context menu this way. So space, move this down, space, think it. Okay, so I need to zoom a wee bit further out there then. Get back there. So yeah, but then I have to be able to show the thing off to the side. Okay. See what that looks like. See if I can get that sort clips by. Yeah, that's good. Descending. There we go. If I copy them. Okay, so at that point I'm copying them down to the pipe, to the timeline again. So I will zoom back out and paired. This one goes back to normal. So 1 tab, 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 0 tab, tab, 0 tab. If I copy them over, so let's try starting it. See what it does. Okay, we got the movie in here. That's where I'm going. So we'll do a start. Go over a little bit. Put both points again. I'm going to zoom in on the camera up there. Kind of glad that it updates as you look at it, because that makes it a little bit easier. Okay, that should work there. Let's see, go a little bit further this way. I think, isn't there a guide I can pull up? Let's see, which one of these is the guide? Okay, so that's, okay, so if I wanted to aim, oh, there we go. That's exactly what I want to aim for. So we'll move it there and up. No, that's fine. Just want it centered. Perfect. Alright, I can turn that back off. Spacebar. Movie in here. Notice, like if I were to go, okay, at this point I should go back out, I think. Go zoom back out here. Do one here. Tab, tab, 0, tab, tab, 0, tab. Let's go. Weird. Like if I were to go export this as it is. Alright, so I want to zoom in on the export stuff now. So I'll say I were to go there, zoom in. Okay, so here I'll put an endpoint and I'll go ahead and do the zooming that I want here. Further down. Alright, so at this point, look at this. Go export this as it is, share the file. It's gonna. Alright, so that might be a bit too gradual of a move. So if I wanted to move these 2 points closer together at this point, I could find this one. This is the starting point for it. So if I look back here, this is where I'm starting. Let's say I wanted to start export once I get it selected. So I'm going to select these points that I have highlighted and drag them over to the playhead. Alright, so let's take a look at how that looks now. Like if I were to go export this as it is, share the file, it's going to export as a 1080. So at that point, I need to move it to the other part of the screen. At that point, let's put another point to say, this is my starting anchor, and I can put the end point wherever I need to see the final result, and then I can drag it back. What I'm going to do this time, let's see. Okay, so that's fully up there, so I'll put a point here. I'm going to move it, zoom it a little bit out so I can see the top on screen. Okay, that's good. Move that down. That's pretty good. Now we go there. Is share the file. It's going to export. Alright, so then that was a little bit too slow. So let's grab the end of it, drag it inwards. See what that looks like now. File. It's going to export. That's really fast. Let's try that again. File. It's going to export. It looks okay to me. Maybe it's a little bit too fast. Alright, back out. And then I'm also, at the end of this, going to do something else to these points to try to make it look interesting as well. Alright, so let's see. It's going to export. It is share the file. It's going to export as a 1080p widescreen. And if I wanted to get it to... Alright, so there I need to go back out. Alright, so that's my start point. There. We'll set an endpoint. One tab 0. Nope. Tab 0. Tab 0. Tab. Okay. So now we can see how that whole thing looks. As it is, share the file. It's going to export as a 1080p widescreen. And if I wanted to get it to... Alright, the first things I would have to do with the clip. Okay, so then I need to zoom in on the controls up there. Put a point here. Then we'll zoom in there. Actually, let's make sure that we get the crop on the page. Okay, so we want all that at the end. So we'll do zoom here. Just put it into the zoom box again. And put it into the element drag 2 as needed. Alright, let's drop it in there. Just at the top right there at this point, so it's these. It's the other one. That looks pretty good. Let's see what that looks like. Is go to, let's see, rotate it here. Maybe I should zoom a little bit further out so that we get the whole video to look at here too. It is go to, let's see, rotate it here like that. Then I can zoom back out. double click. 1 tab tab, 0 tab tab, 0 tab. Okay. So now we're back to the beginning. Let's go over. Go to, let's see, rotate it. That seems a little bit too slow. Let's drag this one further over this time. Go to, let's see. Go to, let's see. That might have been 2 on the nose there. Go to, let's see. It needs to be the other way. Go to, let's see, rotate it here like that. Then show everything. Let's also go back and look at the library now. So okay, so now I can zoom back in. Let's go. That seems good. Go back and look at the library now. So if I go back based on, not really, alright, then we'll zoom back out. I'm not really sure. Let's say this, and it got exploded. Alright, then I need to zoom back into the other side. And at this point, maybe what I'll do is I'll try to capture both in the same screen, because I think I'm just going to flip back and forth between them for a little bit here. Alright, so there I've got both sets. That should be okay. Alright. And it got exploded into 4.6 gigabytes in the library, this movie. So, alright, so then we'll go back to the movie. So at this point, let me go ahead. I'll go back to another one. Alright, this movie. So let me go ahead and close this down now. Alright, so I'm going to close down back to 0. Cool. Alright, let's go back, see how all this looks. I think this part adjusting on this movie. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll move the start a little bit closer. There we go. This movie. Close this down now. You go look. Let's go and click on play. How much space we have all together. So we're taking up 700. Alright, so I want to share that part here. So it zooms out there. So that's the starting point. And that'll be the end point. So we want to zoom in, go to left, go up. That seems like a safe thing to show there. Together. So we're taking up 789 gigabytes right now. Let's go, and then I want to zoom back out. So we'll say that's the starting point. Go out. Call that the end point, and we'll reset. So 1, tab, tab, 0, tab, tab, 0, tab. Let's go try to go to the Blackmagic website and register with them directly. If you go zoom in on the URL there. I don't think I set the bottom one there. Go back. Set that to. At this point, I want to zoom in on the URL. That seems good there, like that. Let's see. Directly. If you go DaVinci Resolve, download, and we'll zoom back out. We'll do a quick reset. 1, 0, 0. Now we're ready to play again. Run zoom on it. We'll start from scratch. Let's go new. Then I'll zoom in on new there. Right, click on them both there. Let's go back. Just in case. Alright, then we'll do this one. Try to get it a little centered there. Up since it's there. It's going to expand out down and to the right, I think. Just keep on doing it a little bit further to get through it. That seems good. Let's go new. Let's say, alright, and then we gotta go back up. So click on new there. New. Let's go new. Let's say Argaba 2. Create. Zoom out there. I can go back and see how it all looks. Let's go new. Let's say, oh, whoops, I didn't set my point. So this is where I need to go back, set the point to before it goes like that. What did I just do? I hit D, then I hit Ctrl Z to undo whatever I did by pressing D. We'll set this point, and I did this wrong, so now it's a little annoying. I need to go back to this point. So was it the 2.7.30? I need to copy it. I need to put it on there. That way it flattens back out that part of the curve. I need to do the same with the X and the Y's. So it was 11. 11 by 16. And the 16, just going to copy it. Alright. Control V. Okay, all should be right in the world. Let's go back, preview it again. Let's go new. Let's say Argaba 2 location's going to be. So if we wanted to, I'm not sure how. Alright, so I need to move that a little bit further in. So if we wanted to, I'm just going to keep on doing this until I get to the end of the clip. We're about halfway through it. This whole process of doing the keyframing, at least in my current capacity, where the amount of practice that I've done with it, takes a long time to get done for sure. This 8-minute clip, we're going on almost an hour getting all the keyframes into it. We're only about halfway done. Keyframes are time and attention intensive. I do like seeing it whenever I see other people's work, or whenever I see other videos that kind of clue me into the part that they're looking at. I do appreciate that. It is a good skill, just the way that the structure of it goes. It's different than other things that I've done before, other things that I've worked on. What you do now affects what's going to happen next. And if you mess something up, understanding where you were supposed to be in the process helps a lot. I don't know if it's going to translate into anything else. Watching the Karate Kid, you know, he does the wax on, the wax off, and then it turns into that fighting move. I don't know if this is anything like that. I don't think I'm going to fight anybody with DaVinci Resolve skills or anything. We'll see. I think I'm going to do the rest of this off camera. I hope y'all enjoyed watching this, and I hope you have a good night. Later on.